Hi, this is Everyday Prepper. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me on the first episode of Survival School, where we learn together because I don't know. Today I'm going to be building a survival shelter in a bushcraft manner. I haven't built one of these before. Well, the last time I built one was when I was 12. So what could possibly go wrong? I'm going to build a lean-to style kind of A-frame shelter. I know that they have normally a big bow going down sort of at about chest height, going down to the floor. You lean a load of stuff either side. Ideally you have a broken branch off of a tree that's then hitting the floor. You make sure it's secured to the tree, and then you can build your stuff around it. Now I'm out in, it's New Year's Day today. Happy New Year to everybody. Hope you had a really great Christmas. I was working most of it, but I did have some time off with the family, so it was all good. Yeah, hope you all had a really good Christmas too. Today the wind is like 60-mile-an-hour gusts. I think it's more than that, with a base wind of about 30 odd miles an hour. It feels like the base wind's about 30-40 miles an hour. Really, really windy coming in. Luckily I'm sheltered by the trees, but in the area I'm in, most of them are beech trees. We've got some sycamore as well. Very few oak and very few evergreen trees, so there's not many leaves on the trees, and it's just about to start raining. I think they switched the rain on about 11 or 12 o'clock today, so I'm not sure what time it is now. I think it's just coming up to 11, so, and I can feel it starting to rain, so I'm going to get an admin tarp up to operate from. Now the scenario I'm looking at is for building this survival shelter is, you know, you're out on a hike somewhere, you may be cycling somewhere long distance, you got tired, maybe you twisted your ankle, you're injured, and you just really have to kind of bed down and at least get some rest, maybe some sleep. Could be during the day, could be during the night, and you want to get a shelter up that's suitable, but you don't have a tarp with you. Don't have a tarp? I always have a tarp with me, usually. But you'd at least hopefully have some paracord and a knife of some sort in your EDC, your everyday carry, so you can use that to lash branches together and things like that. So that's what I'm looking at doing. So I know that I'm cheating a little bit today because I have got a tarp with me, but that's for admin purposes. But I'm going to see if I can build this survival shelter in fairly good time. I haven't got unlimited time today. Not that I'm working or anything, but I need to get back to my boat to check the boat after these high winds, and I'm also looking to stay on it tonight and do some more filming down there. So I'm going to get the tarp up, get all my gear underneath. I've got my bag on the tree just over there on my little toggle, and then I'm going to, as I say, set the tarp up, and then we'll start looking around for a decent place for the shelter to go. Make sure it's going to be pointing into the wind, so the wind will just go over it, and ideally make it waterproof. That would be the idea, and not have to cheat with a tarp, because that kind of defeats the object. Ideally I'd use a tarp, but I wanted to build a shelter because it's a skill that I think is worth having. So first thing to do really is check the area, make sure there's no what they call widow makers, which is branches that will likely snap off in that wind and hit me on the head and kill me, which we don't want. So it looks fairly clear around here. There's lots of branches and stuff with ivy on, so that's going to be great for my shelter, I'm hoping. So I'm going to get the tarp up and I'll be back with you in a sec. Well, I moved over to a completely different clearing, and I got a really weird feeling about this area again. I don't know why, but I know that I'm perfectly entitled to be here, so I'm going to try and just ignore that weird feeling. I think there's lots of noises. The wind is really, really going for it outside of these woods. Of course I'm sheltered by the trees, but the tops of the trees are grating together and making all sorts of sounds that I'm really not used to. But I've also, where I've moved, I'm not sure if I'm near a path or not, but I don't, and what worries me is if there's anyone else out on New Year's Day, they must be a psycho. So I'm extra vigilant, because I think I'm the only psycho in the woods at the moment. Anyway, there's me basher set up, admin tarp, which gave me a right run around, it did. A couple of guys there. It's just to keep the rain off, really. So I've had to double up my pad down there just to make sure it doesn't stick out. There's lots of holes and foxholes and things here as well, so hopefully that'll be alright. But what I'm thinking is, for my shelter, I found this, which I've been tripping over. This big log down here has got a nice V over there. I've got my saw with me. I just saw off that piece and put it up against that tree there. That tree over there, and then down, lash it to the tree, make sure it's all secure, and that's going to be my idea. So I'm going to get to work because I need to check the time because it gets dark so soon, so early these days. Yeah, it's 20 to 12 and I need to really get away in a couple of hours. So okay, let's get to work. Well, that's the base frame setup. Oh, I'm knackered already. I should take this jacket off. Keep thinking I'm hearing footsteps coming up on me. So if you see me looking around my shoulders, oh, I see someone's tried to build a thing over there. There's some wood stacked up over in the corner there. Not in the corner, against a tree, which I could probably use. I reckon other people have been here. Right, let's crack on for a bit. A lot of this wood is totally rotten and covered in bird shit. Right, so I've been doing this for about half an hour now, and that's the result so far. It's a very, very vague wishbone. I don't know how secure it is really. I don't think it's very secure. The front two crossed poles are, and the backbone is pretty secure. Wedged it into the ground. I've bound them together with some paracord, but yeah, I'm not sure if I like it. It's taking a long time. It's very, very small. I'm having to look over my shoulder. It's just loads and loads of weird noises here as well. Not that, you know, if I get found, it's not an issue. I can just take it all apart. It's all dead wood. I'm not using any living wood, which is also a problem, because it's all so brittle and dead. So I've got to pick stuff up and it just breaks in your hands. I'm sure if I'd have to probably go wider afield, gather up a load of stuff all in one go, and then bring it back and then saw it down to size and then do that. But I can see why. I saw a video recently from Tom on Prepared Pathfinder's channel, where he was in the Arctic, to be fair, and there was two of them, and it took them 4 hours to build a shelter like this in the Arctic. I haven't got 4 hours, and there's just one of me. I imagine it would be harder to do in the Arctic because it's colder. You've got to try and find all the wood and everything else. But I think they were able to cut down live living trees as well, or parts of. But yeah, this is harder than I thought, much harder than I thought. So I would be more inclined if I was on a long hike, or if I was going anywhere in the car or a long distance. If I was in the car, take a sleeping bag, absolutely, and take a tarp and some guy lines, and you know, stuff like that. Good enough for camping in, because this, to me, if there was an emergency, I'd sooner just sleep under a tree. I mean, around here there's lots of fallen debris where you've got fallen branches and stuff like this one over here, for instance. I mean, there's a holly bush there. You could just bury yourself in there, prop away the hollies from you. This one's got loads of ivy in. You could probably sleep under there and just build a really, really makeshift shelter. But getting away from the rain, I think, take a tarp. Why wouldn't you? I mean, tarps are widely available. I've got loads of them, so always have one spare. You can rig it up in minutes, and you know, the main elements you want to get away from is rain and wind, and this is going to take a long time to build for me. You know, even when I've put all the sticks on there, it's knackering, and you're still looking around, making sure you're not being watched and stuff like that, which I do naturally. Covered in bird crap. Tarp's a lot cleaner. Got my guy ropes up. I can adjust it. I can make it bigger or smaller, whatever I need to, as the weather conditions change. So I'm thinking that from a survival point of view, although this is a good skill to have, I mean, if we have a look in from here, look inside, you know, really not a lot of room. You'd want to make it pretty compact. And I could probably get in there. Let's have a little look, shall we? Let's see. I'm going to get covered in bird crap though, that's the only thing. I mean, that's pretty sturdy. That's pretty sturdy. That's sturdy. It's all built in. So once it's all covered over, I could probably sit in here. You know, if it had a ivy or some leaves over the top, yeah, I could probably. I mean, even these twigs are sheltering me a little bit from the wind, but still not as good as a tarp. I've wedged that end in here into the ground. But yeah, it's not as good as a tarp. I think I might just abandon it. I might get a brew on actually, while we've got some time. Let's get the camera under here because it is starting to rain. I don't know if I got it on camera, but there's so many holes. I fell completely down a couple of holes while I was gathering wood as well. So you know, that could be a major problem. If you'd injured yourself hiking and you were trying to build one of these, I mean, nightmare. And then you end up falling down a hole and, you know, what have you. So yeah, I'm thinking tarp. I mean, you know, the backbone of the shelter is supposed to be really strong and, you know, great for, but you just choose an open area. I mean, worst case. I wonder if there's people bushcrafting in this woods as I speak, because there's a shelter that's half built over there. There's another one that's definitely tied to a tree over there where they've started. I've just pinched some wood from, and then there's mine. I just heard a big crack of wood up there, which sounds like voices as well. So I was going to get a fire on and do a brew, but I don't want to attract attention with the smoke. I don't know why. I mean, I made this clear, right? So when I'm out in these woods, I'm a bit of a loner myself, right? So I don't like being approached by people, you know, when I'm out and about. And same when I'm out boating. If I'm out boating out in the middle of nowhere, I don't want another boat coming up to me. You know, it's a bit invasive. The main ones I've had really is the RNLI, the lifeboat comes out when they're doing exercises and they come out and make sure I'm not going to be getting in their way. But when I'm out in the woods, I automatically feel like I'm going into survival mode. I mean, earlier when I was just setting up the tarp, had this weird feeling. My heart was racing. So I'm sure there are techniques, and the more you do it, it's been a while that I've been in the woods. I've been down on the rifle range on the concrete butts, which has been a whole lot easier, just because it's very easy to see anyone coming, and it's a very, very familiar place to me as well. Whereas this isn't, and this is a new area. So that's why I'm maybe coming across a little bit sort of nervy. See, there's definitely voices around, more than one. He says it could be the wind, it could be the screeching of the trees, because that sounds like kids screeching and all sorts. You might be able to pick that up on camera. Anyway, I wanted to ask you something as well. If enough people watch this, I had a question. I'm looking to get hold of a portable, as in rechargeable pressure washer, like the Karcher type thing, but not one that you plug in with the electrics. But it needs to be also one that draws from a bucket or draws from a barrel. And I want to use it for, you know, washing my car, washing my windows and stuff, but also washing my boat. And I found a few on Amazon, but they're like about 30-40 quid, and really mixed reviews, and you just don't know whether they're fake reviews. They kind of have a bit of a sniff of fake about them. So I just wondered if anyone who's watching happens to have something that they could recommend, you know, tell me whether it's good or not. I wanted to find a Makita one, because I've got loads of Makita power tools, and they recharge, 18-volt battery packs. And I found one, and then realised I was actually on AliExpress, which are wholly dodgy. I've ordered stuff from them before and it's just not turned up, and it just didn't seem right. It was like 110 quid. Anything that Makita touches is like £200-300, if not more. So I don't really trust that. And I ordered a radio from them as well several weeks ago now, I think. It still hasn't arrived. I haven't heard anything, so maybe I need to check. But yeah, I don't really trust them. And I don't really trust the Amazon reviews. So yeah, so if anyone's got one of them and they could recommend it, then please let me know. I'd appreciate that. See, again, keep feeling like I'm seeing things in the background and the camera behind me. Paranoid today. Bit annoying really. It's disruptive to me, to my enjoying the woodland. I'm out here to be calm and everything else. The calmest place I feel relaxing and stuff is on my boat or out on the water, I think. So living on a boat for me is going to be exciting from next year. Thanks to everyone who subscribed to the other channel as well, where I'm documenting all of that. Appreciate that. If any of you migrated over, really appreciate that, because I see the subscriber count went up after I mentioned it. So yeah, appreciate that very much. Now, I don't know what to do now. I do need to get down the boat. I need to go home and get changed. Here comes Robin in the holly. Yeah, so I'm going to abandon the shelter because I just know it's going to take a lot longer than I've got. But at least I know what I did was fairly secure. And to make it waterproof, I was just going to put a load of ivy over the top, which there's loads of, but it's just work. I think I'm going to have a coffee. That'll settle me down. A nice latte, I think. It's not really raining very much. Anyway, I don't know if you found this interesting. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. Let me know. But it's interesting for me. You know, I was thinking, God, why am I going out in 60-mile-an-hour gusts, crappy rain all day apparently, in the woodland on New Year's Day when I could be at home with my family? Is it just because I do videos and it's because I feel like I should, or is it because I'm doing it for enjoyment? It really is both. It really is. I wanted to get this out on video. But I also wanted to experience this for myself. I didn't know how to build a shelter. I've never really done it hands-on. I've seen it done on videos countless times. I've read about it in, what's his name, Lofty Wiseman's SAS book, you know, ways of building shelters and things like that. And it's all well and good looking at it in the pictures and watching it on YouTube under a time lapse like I've done. But actually hands-on doing it is knackering, it's soul destroying when you just think, oh God, I've done so much, and then you look at it and then the light's fading and it's barely a shelter, you can barely get into it. It won't be like this, you know. So yeah, it's just interesting for me, and hopefully somebody will find that interesting too, that in reality it's a lot more of a chore than you'd expect. So anyway, let's wash my hands, get rid of all this bird crap. I mean, there's some big trees over there behind me which are, I think there's holly, some kind of evergreen, which look pretty good. So you could probably just literally camp under those. If you wanted to get away from rain, I bet that's dry as a bone down there. Just make sure nothing's going to fall on your head. If it's evergreen, it's unlikely anyway, I'd have thought. So yeah, I reckon there's better alternatives to building a shelter, bushcraft shelter. Let me know what you think. You know, maybe some people swear by it, but I would sooner bring out a. Oh, I brought some noodles with me. Oh, I've got my gas. I'm going to use gas. That saves using one of my fire dragons. Much easier. Gas can. Gas can. There he goes. Right. Ah, tea towel. That's what I want. There's our tea towel. So, survival school. Got lots planned. Still be doing the breakfast club. Staying on the boat tonight, which will be probably absolutely freezing. But I'm looking forward to it. And I'll do a breakfast club. My Robin. I'll do another breakfast club on the boat tomorrow morning, and then I'm going to plan my next survival school. A couple of other things I want to try, which I'll tell you about nearer the time or on the day. Things I want to try out: bushcraft stuff, survival stuff, but it's going to be based outdoors. A lot of it's going to be based outdoors in kind of hopefully not survival situations, but mock survival situations like today. You know, I gave you an example of what reasons why you might want to run into a woodland and build a shelter. I would just always make sure I've got a tarp. I suppose the only other thing is if I didn't have a bed with me, like you know, like this mattress I'm sitting on, in spare in the car, or if I was hiking, I didn't have a roll mat or something like that, then I could just. Why is that broken? It looks like it's broken. What's going on? I could build a bed, you know, 2 long runners with like a ladder formation, chuck a load of leaves on top of it, just to get me off the ground, so I'm not feeling all the cold from the ground. That might be an idea, and that would be a lot quicker to do. You know, gathering a few bits of chunky wood together, that'd be a lot easier to do because they're all going to be the same size up the ladder, pretty much, and you just do it under a tarp, under an A-frame, and then you've got a bed, I guess. Maybe ideally have a sleeping bag or one of those blankets, you know, the emergency blankets. Have one of those, and that would probably do it. So going forward, that's what I will have on me at all times, which I generally do. I have that electric blanket. I have survival blankets, those 4 ones. I have those generally in pockets. I have them in the car. I have them all over the place. I bought loads of multi-packs of them. They're cheap as chips, and they work really well. They're really warm. In fact, I used one when I was up at the bushcraft show, and for some reason I think I only took one sleeping bag, and I was cold one night, and I literally just wrapped myself up in this emergency blanket, and it did the trick. Absolutely did the trick. We're cooking on gas. Get a cup of tea, cup of coffee, I mean. Latte. I think these even have, you see that in there, the chocolate? They have like chocolate inside. Unless that's the coffee and then you've got the milk around it, I don't know. It's good though. Oh, long leg. Okay, let's put that lid on. Ooh. I'll tell you what, here's one for you. Here's one for all us old gits. I take loads of vitamins, right? I take a Barocca, which is like vitamin C shot, Barocca every morning with a few vitamins. I take vitamin D and I take a multivit, and what else do I take? Vitamin D, multivit. Oh, and I'm now on the echinacea. And I've got some guarana as well, which has got caffeine in it. Sometimes I take one of those during the day as well. And I thought, oh, There's the other one is magnesium, which apparently is supposed to make you sleep better at night, because I suffer from sleep apnea some nights, and it used to be much worse when I was drinking. I've obviously haven't been drinking for 6 years. So, but where I've kind of maybe lost a little bit of cardio, I've got relaxed muscles in here, and as I've got older, snoring a lot and suffer from sleep apnea. My wife sort of says I'll sit there and she watches me not breathe for a long time. I don't know what she's waiting for. Waiting for me to not breathe ever. I'm joking, she would never do that. Anyway, where was I? Oh, magnesium, right? So magnesium's supposed to make you sleep better. So the other night, oh my God, I took a couple of magnesium just before bed. I had eaten a couple of chocolate biscuits or something, just a little snack. I took these 2 tablets. Anyway, I went to bed and I woke up having had the most terrible nightmare ever. I had to hug my wife. She had to console me. It was pathetic. I was distraught. Absolutely. I've not had a dream like that, I don't think, ever. I mean, I've had nightmares where you wake up and you think, oh, thank God for that. This was like, it's still ongoing. This was my life. It was awful. So I didn't take any more of that stuff because I don't want anything like that happening. It was horrible. Anyway, maybe it's all a bit personal, but yeah, so I lay off the magnesium, guys and girls, although my wife takes it, and she sleeps really well, gets up really early in the morning and has a really good night's sleep, so there you go. It's interesting though. My family keeps saying, you need to go to a doctor, Dad, that could be dangerous, sleep apnea, you need to go and get it sorted out and everything else, but I hate doctors. Ever since, well, I'm not going there, but I don't trust doctors. I'm not on any medication, I'm not on any prescription medication or anything like that, I don't ever intend to be. So I saw a video earlier with Sam from Yorkshire Survival and Outdoors, and he was talking about his migraines. If you're watching, Sam, yeah, sorry to hear about that. I used to have migraine auras, which is where you get this really colourful like kaleidoscope stuff, which is supposed to be pre-migraine, but I never got the migraines, luckily. But I couldn't drive because this thing would take over your whole vision. It was just really strange. And it's in the visual cortex, apparently. I know that because it was both eyes. Really, really odd. I had my eyes checked through an optician. They said it was all okay. But I still didn't go to a doctor. So I know what it's like. You know, you don't want to go to a doctor and then they stick you on a load of prescription meds that you're on for life. And then when you fill out any forms, you go, oh, I'm not on any meds. Yes, I'm on. You have to declare it all that crap. I'm not going there with that, you know, unless I really have to. Oh, shit. Pardon my French. That is boiling, so we don't need to overboil it, do we? Then it goes all quiet all of a sudden. Then it sounds like there's a chainsaw in the distance. Why would they be chainsawing trees? They were the other day, but they wouldn't be doing it in this wind, surely. Surely not. Anyway. Latte. Here we come. Hopefully this will calm me down. Just seeing some little fern leaves laying over there as well, which would be quite good for a shelter. See, that sounds like someone breaking. Is bushcraft shelter building popular on New Year's Day? Is it a thing? Let me know in the comments. I really don't know. I think everybody should be out in the woods on New Year's Day. Well, not in my woods, not in this woods. It's not my woods. Don't really want people out here with me, but I think everybody should. If that makes sense. Let's try one sweetener. Okay. Right, I think we'll have this. Clear up. Batter my way back through the undergrowth that I had to do to get here. Might be a quicker way out, actually. I did bring some lunch. I got some noodles but I had a massive breakfast with eggs, bacon, sausages and tin plum tomatoes. Oh, that was another thing. So the plum tomatoes needed a tin opener to open, so I opened them with my penknife just to make sure I remembered how to do it. Not really remembering really, I just thought I'd just try the technique without injuring myself. Nearly cut myself. Does everybody know how to do that? You know, on the penknife? If you don't, I'm probably definitely teaching you to suck eggs now, but you know, it's just a thing. If you haven't got a tin opener and you've got a normal penknife, that's your tin opener function. So quite a sharp blade on there, hook that under the tin, and you just work your way around. It makes the tin lid really lethal. But it works a treat, and you get it open in not much less time than a tin opener really, unless you're using an electric thing. But I just wondered, does everybody know how to use one of those? If not, maybe I'll do a video on it. But it's really simple. It's just an important skill to have to save having to bring tin openers with you. I do sometimes bring tin openers with me, but I always have a penknife and a Gerber multi-tool with me, so I don't really need to waste space with tin openers. Oh, that's nice. Extra sweet too. That is good. There's lots of trees down in this woods, and I've read that you can build shelters around the base of a tree where the tree's gone up. Quite a big shelter, if it's pointing the right way, you know, if the tree's gone down towards the wind, well, that's unlikely, isn't it? It's generally going to be, because the wind often blows, I know I'm going to get comments for this, but it often blows, where I am, it often blows in the same direction. You know, the way the earth spins and stuff, you know, we generally have a west to east kind of wind situation, usually. I know it changes, you get northerly winds and southerly winds and everything else, but most of the time it comes in from the west, it comes down the east, and I'm on the southeast. So you get kind of a westerly. So generally, you know, you'll have a northwesterly or a southwesterly, or a west-northwest or something like that. And I suppose if a tree's going to go down, it's going to go down leeward. So you'd have to build a shelter maybe the other side of it, under the main trunk. You could put like a tarp over the top of it, pin it down. That'd be good actually. I might do that another time. Stick it down. Hope you don't mind me thinking out loud. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Maybe next shelter I build, I won't be the next video, but next shelter, there's loads of trees down here with the roots up completely down, and I'll stick a tarp over it and see if I can slide underneath and maybe kip, especially towards the spring. Do a bit of rough sleep. So I do plan on doing loads of outdoor stuff with the boat as well, but also in the woods, especially in the spring, summer. I didn't get the whole of the summer last year. It didn't occur to me to go out and about sleeping under a tarp until later on in the year. So I only got 3 tarp camps, or 1 tent camp, didn't I? So they were good tarp camps. I enjoyed them. Well, I enjoyed 2 out of 3. Right, I think I'm going to call it a day. I've got to get down the boat. I'll see you on Tarp Breakfast Club. Not sure when this one's going to be out. I've got to do all the editing and everything else. Stay over on the boat. I haven't got a laptop with me on the boat that I can use. That's something I need to do so I can do editing on the fly. So I'm going to finish my coffee, get all tidied up, get on the way. It actually feels like it's getting dark. It's, you know, it's like 1 o'clock. It's not even 1 o'clock. I know it gets dark at sort of dusky at 3, doesn't it? Dark by 4, 4:15 maybe. And I know it is getting lighter day by day, but yeah, it's still a grey old day. Anyway, that wind's getting up. I'm going to pack up. Thanks very much for watching, appreciate it. Thanks very much for joining me on the new Survival School. Let me know what you think. But the themes, and let me know what you want to see. I mean, we're going to sort of gear it towards prepping and survival. Some quirky bits. But as I said, you know, I don't know anything, so we're going to kind of learn together, do trial and error, as I always do. It's never going to work out perfect. Some may work out reasonably perfect, some may not. But we'll get it all on camera. That's the idea anyway, to demonstrate what stuff is like really, if you know what I mean. You know, not just, oh, here's a nice shelter I made. It took me 4 days, but you don't need to see that. That kind of stuff. You know what I mean anyway. So, in the meantime, thanks very much for watching. Appreciate it. See you on Breakfast Club, and I will see you soon. Take care.